In
I'm gonna
hope.
go out and come back in. My sound jacked up. Wait a minute. First, let me try to turn it up first. Say something, Elder.
You clear, man. I can hear you clear.
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go out and come back in real quick then. Hey, y'all. Peace and love. Rabbi. In hopes that we wouldn't say it first, but truth must be told.
And the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lekker. Peace.
Young
Unto
TV.
you. Hit that like.
Hey, Rod, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
No, that's you. That ain't me. I can't hardly hear you.
I wonder what's going on with it. I tell you what, I'm gonna switch to my phone, but meanwhile, hey Rod, just go ahead, kick it on the I'm gonna just click on and click back on. You can go ahead, go in on the Big Mama Times Square flip with the statue. Can't hear me?
Oh, in New York,
Yeah, I'm gonna just log off and log back on real quick. Hold on.
it ain't gonna drop me, is it?
No, it ain't gonna drop you.
Okay. So the symbolism, they got a Big Mama statue in New York. It look uncannily to me like the Lady of Rage from Death Row, baddest lyricist known, or rough and tough with your Afro puff. And the Big Mama being in New York. New York is an empire state. The Empire State is the capital of the state. Remember a couple years ago, they put the bull up. No, the bull been up. They put the gorilla up because that's the gorilla knock. Now they put Big Mama up. So the empire had a gorilla on top. Now Big Mama is in the Empire State. You got so while Big Mama in the Empire State, that means that the Big Mama is taking over the empire, right? So we sitting here, we watching all this stuff, and we seeing all of the symbolism play out. We getting feedback, Elder.
There you go, right there. You saying you still getting feedback?
Yeah. No, you sound good now.
All right, there you go. I fixed it.
Yeah, you still a little low, but I can hear you better.
How about now?
It's the same. I don't know. Let me try something.
Hey, but I'm gonna play this clip while you doing that. Let me play this clip for him.
Yep, it's good, Elder. Go ahead. We good.
I'm play this clip.
A striking new 12-foot tall statue of a black woman has been unveiled in Times Square, standing in stark contrast to the area's historic statues of white men. symbolizing diversity and empowerment in New York's public art scene. The powerful installation aims to spark conversations about representation and inclusion in public spaces.
Got a couple questions for you. Now we know, because you're a high power alchemist and you can see things. Now by this statue being there on Times Square, you know what I'm saying? This is a big thing dealing with the Masons, the Knights of Templar, the Black Madonna. I'm thinking it's all connected with the restoration of Big Mama. And then even the sign about how she got her hands on her hips, that even says something. And I think after I got off on the last one, I think the number 12 is dealing with the time clock, right? It's dealing with this 12 numbers on the clock. So it's got to be something connected with it. But what do you got on that as far as the code flip on the land? Go ahead.
I was going over it while you was going out, coming back in, right? So the Times Square issue, remember the clocks are round, right? Remember the Masonic puzzle, how did you get a circle out of square, right? Or how you get a square out the circle, right? So they give you a circle, it looked like a pizza. You had to cut the pie in quarters and then move the circle, the crust, to the center, right? When they get lined up, the tips of the pizza make the square and the circle is in the square, right? Now we talking about building time, constructing. It's the architect, the grand architect, Big Mama. The master mason is the mother, the first teacher, the first builder with the child, the first educator, the first source of proper guidance. Dad is the straight bump for the child. He's coming off a whole different line. Mama's coming with a game of four-corner shuffle. Daddy coming with a game of two-ball cane, right? The four-corner shuffle gonna always square you off, but the two-ball cane gonna always knock your ass around, right? So it's the pendulum on the Masonic symbol over the square, right? Because the circumference of the father determines the diameter of the square in which you can fit. And the mold is made by the mother because she squared you off by teaching you proper etiquette, proper public behavior, proper control of self, and proper vision for a future. So Big Mama always teaching you, Mama always teaching you from a baby. The best thing to be is the child between multiple Big Mamas. I got 7 mothers named Mary. They are my Big Mamas from different baptismal rites of the tribes of the land, or consecration rites. You say baptism, now they think you at the church dipping underwater. That's not always a baptism. The consecration rite, sometimes they smear your head with oil, the anointing, Mashiach. They creating a Messiah because they are anointing him, right? I got 7 Big Mamas named Ruth. They are the bankers. Those called the money pots. And they all represent one of the honey pots. The honey pots is the 7 sisters, right? And the 7 sisters can consist of cousins because my auntie is really my mama's sister. And my cousin is normally my sister, my mama's sister's daughter. But they didn't got us confused by calling us cousins. But the proper orientation of the bloodline tell you who your family is by structure and contrast, right? By identifying who your family, you identifying birthrights. And birthrights is tied to blood rights. And blood rights is tied to land. Right. So the old Mississippians come out the woods, all these old stealthy priests, they coming from all of the black clans of the land, the Black Eagle clan, the Black Falcon clan, or Hawk clan, whatever you want to call it. They coming from the Black Vulture clan. That's the cleanup crew. That's the big old strong ass linky niggas, right? They look like they look like what's a good character to define them? They almost look like black goons from Popeye, right? That's the cleanup crew. When we breaking heads, when we busting heads, and when the cleanup crew come, they come in to clean up the old broken bodies that's left in the wake. They call them grave diggers, corpse carriers, right? They pick up all of the bodies out the street after war, right? Their whole family lines is mortuary science. They then turned it into a small group of select individuals that dress the bodies for the ceremonial crossover, right? So then you got your Black Wolf Clan. Then you got your Black Elk Clan. All it is, when you say black, you mean stealth, right? Because those was the defenders on the chessboard against the white piece, your white knight, right? Remember when Jim Jones poisoned all them people, he screamed on the thing, it's a white knight. A white knight is a mass assassin, right? So all the time you thinking that the white knight is the righteous knight. He's the one who came to conquer and went about conquering, riding the white horse with the white suit, right? But now his suit is blood red because he carried with him death everywhere he went, from slaughtering people. He's red with the blood of the incense of the saints. The saints is the babies, and the soles of his shoes became red from walking through the blood of the sacrificed innocent. Abortion babies, adrenochrome babies, right? So when you get done going through who is who, you realize that the Lone Ranger was never the Lone Ranger, a black guy riding a white horse, but he was the black guy riding the black horse. Dark Knight, the long shot, the one least likely to succeed, right? Became the champion in this game of life, moving like a knight on a chessboard in an L figuration. Every time they was taking a loss, he was flipping sevens. 3 sevens is the jackpot. So everywhere he went, he flipped the jackpot because the seven's been tripled on every step, right? So when the righteous son comes about, he finds the place of the righteous mother, the big mama, the rightful heir, the one who the grandfather clause activates the grandmother clause, the oldest contract of the earth. The blood right, which is the menstrual rights of the woman who bare the child to be able to spill the menstrual blood on the land freely, to fertilize the land with the blood of the righteous, because the menstrual blood comes straight from the womb, the portal of life, where it insulates the developing child. And this drainage becomes the fertilizer for the life of the earth. So this is why when she spilled her menstrues on the ground, up sprouts a new sprout, a new tree, a new bush, a new plant, a new flower, right? When the mama's pearl, the virgin girl, misses on the land, she make the lily flowers grow. She make the sunflowers grow. She make the dandelions grow, right? Because the frequency, pitch, and the energy, and they all become healing to the ones who consume the plant, because the plant has the healing energy of mama's pearl, right? The rightful heir, because she the one that belong on the land, so the land responds to her like kind, right? And it's all symbolism. So they made John Wick the Pope. Let that sink in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that Pope thing, man. The American Pope. What's your take on it, man?
It's symbolism. It's symbolism because he is a mulatto passing. He Creole. He from the New Orleans Creole line. born in Chicago, right? That's symbolism, right? So it's talking about the conjure spell, what he's reverse engineering in his presence. They came for one drop of blood. And they said the last pope had to be a black pope. They thought it was Peter, but remember, papal dictates say you can never have another pope named Peter because the first one was appointed by Jesus himself.
Oh, I ain't never heard. That's my first. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yep. So we was expecting Peter to be the pope because the first pope was named Peter. And we know that the pope that ascended is the last pope. But remember, Peter was a blackamoor. He was a ninja, a Negro,
That's right.
a color,
That's right.
a darky, right? And in the biblical text they refer to in the Catholic Church, when they say that, they say, on this rock I should build my temple, in reference to St. Peter, the
That's
first
right.
pope, right? But he really wasn't the first pope. Alexander was the first pope because he commissioned the church.
Go ahead.
But they tell us Peter was, in order to carry on a direct line from the living Messiah or the living Christ, Big Mama, Isis, right? So that they could say that they was empowered by the great mother Isis, or they called Jesus, to establish their church, the papal church, the sacerdotal seat of the great mother in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So they took the Big Mama birthrights and they passed them on among men dressed up as women.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the 6,000, what is the last 2,000 years of the 6,000 years rule of the devil, known as the rule of Babylon.
Time
right?
up on the Times Square, baby. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now all roads lead back to Rome. So whatever we doing over here got to show up in Rome, don't it?
Yeah.
Comparative analysis, and this ain't to say nothing to make nobody super special, but the Pope born in Chicago and I was born in Chicago.
Go ahead.
Right? I'm doing Big Mama work. He masquerading like he doing Big Mama work.
Go ahead.
The proof is in the pudding. So what did they put in it? They put in one drop of blood. So that the last Pope that don't look like the black Pope is really a black Pope.
Go ahead. Crack heads, crack
So now that he got his one drop of blood, he got the right, as the rule go, to give the throne back to Big Mama. Restore the matriarchal sacerdotal seat.
The Black Madonna. That's right.
Which ties back to the Big Mama statue in Times Square. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When the time is square, that means it's even. We all squared away now.
Yeah.
So Big Mama came back for everything they owe, and she told her baby boys to go get it. We put together a scheme to plot a plan to run the program to institute enough education on the minds of the devastated youth.
Right.
Until we wake the babies up, and the baby's gonna tell the truth. And out of the mouth of babe come the wisdom of the wise.
Go ahead.
So
go ahead.
Hold on.
Hey y'all. I wonder why I did it.
So look, they think they slick when they appointed the Pope John Wick. Then they changed his name to, right? 14 is 2 sevens.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 sevens that make up the 14 and the 1 and the 4 makes the 5, which brings about the change. 5 means turnaround.
Okay.
Right? So he becomes Leo, the lion, represented by the Sphinx, because he's working out of the Catholic Church.
Right.
Or the circle.
Holistic
So
cat.
the Pope is in the circle and Big Mama's in the square.
Go ahead.
That means you face to face with the adversary and you watching his kingdom crumble as he handed back to Big Mama.
Right.
Right. So he had to traverse the land with one drop of blood, arise through the ranks as the chosen son, the stone the builders rejected, rise through the ranks.
Go ahead.
So when Leo takes office, that means that he has a duty as with one drop of blood to give the kingdom back to its rightful heir, Big Mama.
Right.
And they telling us in the signs and the symbols everything that's transpiring,
Respect.
right?
Cold
But they
flip.
not telling us they beating around the bush.
Right.
Because only the ones that can read the signs can understand the time.
That's right.
Right? What did Bob Marley say about the time in the redemption song?
It says, excess moving of the people.
Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the
What's the
time.
time?
Won't
How
you
long?
help me sing
Is
these
it?
songs of freedom? Because
'Cause
all
all
I ever had, redemption
redemption
song.
song.
Right? What did Prince
Emancipate
sing?
yourself. Go ahead.
It's the sign of the times.
Go
Right?
ahead.
When he talked about disciples high on crack toting a machine gun.
Go ahead.
Right? So everybody was telling you to watch the time, say 2000, party over, oops, out of time. So we gonna party like it's 1999,
Go ahead.
right? Now we 25 years removed, but we still can feel the groove.
Go ahead.
Because the message was in the music, and the music told the story, and the story that was being told was out of the blues.
Right.
That's the Delta blues, the Mississippi Delta blues.
Right.
Where you go down to the crossroad to sell your soul. And the devil went down to Georgia looking to steal one. But he ran into Johnny, and Johnny was a heart-playing son of a gun. Right?
Go ahead.
And so everything that they telling us is already coded. Now it's being decoded in front of our face.
Right.
They stole Big Mama's seat, and they sent her baby boy to get it back. So in the Papal Church, the one drop of blood doctrine had to be proof in the pudding.
Go ahead.
Right? For you to be able to wear the other skin and still conquer and take over.
Yeah.
I don't even like them popes, but this might be my favorite one by far. Because he's telling the whole Truman story just by being who he is.
Wow. Wow. Chicago flip, Sanky Onion, Chicago, man. It's a lot with Chicago. Meanwhile, I got another question for you, Rod. Okay, so we've been getting a lot of action here lately in Ohio.
Hold on, Elder. I'm having some technical difficulties. Let me go out and come back in.
All right. Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I got Rod on. Give us the clothes flip on the what's going on with the Big Mama statue in Times Square. Right now, I'm gonna really ask some more questions about other things. Let's see when we come back in. Y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We non-stop action. You know what I'm saying over here, Young LTV, man. Right? I'm gonna run that clip right now. Okay, hold on. Rod might be coming back. Here go Rod right here. Hey, Rod, can you hear me now?
I can hear you good.
All right. Now, my next question for you, and because this ties all in together. Meanwhile, while we getting the Big Mama time coming back in, we're dealing with a lot of stuff in Ohio. It's one brother, you probably been hearing the news about the one brother that ran over the police that shot his son in the back. What do you see on that? Do you see that the brother is justified for hitting a cop that wasn't even a cop that shot his son in the back? Is it just all around get back? Because people are saying that all cops are bad cops. And
listen, all cops not bad cops. They just on the wrong side. The police don't supposed to be here, first of all. They're occupying military force chartered out of London, England. So that's the first problem. They over here under hostile circumstances, and they want us to lay down and take it. I'm sorry, you got the wrong generation with the wrong elders rising to power and the wrong youth being born. We no longer laying down and taking it. Everybody had to do whatever they feel in their heart that they justified in doing to balance the scales of justice. And I'm not going to say nothing negative about that, man, because if it had been my son, the only difference is I'd have waited till I found out exact police,
right,
and I'd have took out his kids first, so he could feel the suffering right before I take him out.
Go ahead. See, you think a little bit like I think.
Look,
See, I
I
wouldn't
ain't the
got
only
no
one.
top.
Look, one of the elders was on one of them podcasts, and they asked him if the police killed one of his kids, what would you do? He said, I would get my affairs in order, and I would go and I would kill everybody in his family till he feel it before I kill him. So I ain't the only one feel that way. This ain't your Martin Luther King, we shall overcome generation. I'm sorry to tell you, this ain't the turn the other cheek generation. You got a whole new cast of characters, and I can't tell them, and you can't tell them either. Don't defend their family.
Right? Go ahead. I feel you on that. That's real talk.
You can't tell us that no more. The contract is up. We can act a fool now. This is what they don't understand. But before we act a fool, we need some strategy about it, because they ain't gonna lay down and just let. The only way we can do it without causing a bunch of chaos is the way that Donald J doing it, systematically taking it down from the top to the bottom. Because the ones at the bottom is mindless drones, angry sheep. Right. And when you piss off an angry sheep, you might as well you done pissed off a wolf in sheep's clothing. He don't even know he a wolf dressed up like a sheep.
Right.
Them little low ranking individuals, the new converts they send out to get other converts, and they ask the same questions they ask to get converted, to make it easier for the new convert to be converted. I'm not asking the same question, and I'm not making the same statements.
Right.
Right. For him to do what he did, he felt justified in his heart. And if he felt justified, he's prepared to do the time.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I thought about that afterwards. Like, that brother, he was smiling. That I thought about it, because some people, when they do things, they regret it and it's sitting in the cell. Like, dang, I should have did that. But I don't think he feel like that. I think he feel like,
if you in prison for something that you know you earned your right to be there, you don't feel the same pain as a motherfucker that feels innocent. Right? Because the police be setting people up, and people be believing because the police set you up, you had to be guilty.
Right.
Right? Because he arrested you, you had to be guilty. They don't know that they the enemies to carry out the war rant.
Right.
Right? They just put all the words together to confuse us with legalese and call it a warrant.
Yeah, war rant.
It's the declaration of war that they declare against one individual.
Go ahead.
That's so that they don't have to fight us all. It's easier to beat us one at a time. But soon as we realize what's taking place on the land, and that we in the process of reclaiming our birthright, they not gonna have that opportunity, because all of the ones that's in the force that didn't know they was being used by the enemy gonna quit on their own. They haven't realized it yet. Right. And the ones who feel like they justified as the police, they the goddamn law, they gonna stay on the force because they're sociopath, and they gonna be food for the tribes. Because they legal standing will be revoked. They come with that bullshit, they gonna get what they got coming. But
I tell you what,
the smartest thing for us to do is join forces with each other, watch Trump tear this something down, and be ready when Big Mama call us all for the big old family reunion and have Mardi Gras from coast to coast. That's the smartest thing for us to do. But if they do something to your family and you feel justified, like you can handle whatever the consequences is, handle your business.
Yeah, I'm with it. That ain't no bad idea.
You're not getting away with doing something to my family. I'm sorry, it might look like you got away. And I'm long suffering, so I could wait a long time to get even.
Yeah, I'll sit on it for a while, brother. I'm telling you. Then all of a sudden, when you least expect it,
watch the quiet before the storm. That's all I can tell them.
Right. Now, shout out to the people, because that brother, he's probably gonna be living good up in there, because his books is maxed out. Like, they just started him so much money, and you can't even. They won't even allow nobody to send him no more money. So he got enough money for Stowe. He gonna be good. You got Stowe, man. You the man up in there.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
And then on top of that, man, The dude is a national hero for the tribes, and we don't even know it.
Go ahead.
He a national hero for the tribes, right? And the police don't. But this is the part that's the saddest of it all. Is the police don't know that they not supposed to be here, and the sheriffs don't know that the police is treading on their jurisdiction and they hostile forces.
Right.
So if the sheriff understood who the police was, he would arrest from the chief on down to the beat cop.
Right. Damn
And
so right.
he would take over a police station with the sheriff's department, right? Because he have the jurisdictional authority in the county granted by the people in that county.
Right.
They don't have the jurisdiction. Nobody elected them in the community. That's unconstitutional. You're not supposed to give that power to nobody without doing it with a public election by the will of the collective. The people in the town got to determine who their chief is of their law enforcement division. This is why sheriffs are elected officials, and they are the elected officials that's supposed to make sure that other people don't impersonate the law under United States Code 1984. 24 U.S.C. 1984 under the color of law. They dressed up under the color of law, right? And this is because of the War Powers Act that's never been revoked. We've been in a perpetual state of war ever since they had a constitution.
Right.
First, George Washington was under the Emergency War Powers Act, right? And then Lincoln doubled down and declared the national emergency under the Emergency War Powers Act. This is why the president is the head of the country, the highest military official, and he has to be elected by the people, and he got to be born on the land.
Right.
Right. And when the corporation put Obama in there, they breached the contract and ended the sovereign responsibilities given to the corporation under the contract called the Constitution. They not our government. They frauds. But it's not enough of us aware of it for it to change, but we becoming aware.
Right.
And the more we becoming aware, it becomes visible by the algorithm change in social media. The algorithm change in how the people move on the land. When they talking about put your boots on the ground where your fans at is an anthem, right? Because your boots on the ground means soldier ready. The fans, when they ask them where the fans at, we know them shit kickers got to kick the shit somewhere.
Right.
Right? And that's what they call the boots. The shit kickers. So the shit kickers kicking the shit into the fan.
Right.
All of it is telling us the story of the tribes movement without overtly stating, because they did for so long, they talked in our face, behind our back, using signs and symbols.
Right.
We talk in their face, behind their back, using song and dance.
Go ahead.
The only reason why the signs and symbols was prevailed was because of the stupor of the contract from the blood magic. Now that the conjured and been exposed, we are waking up in masse, as they say. And you can tell by how the youth is bombarding the internet with facts.
Right.
This is what they showing you, where they wrote about the truth before they start telling us the lie. They pulling out the old books of the ones that was there, telling the story firsthand versus the ones that's telling it in the aftermath, whitewashing the history.
Right.
So once we got the babies on the right trail, there's too many of them with too many eyes on the problem and the solution. We don't got to tear nothing up, but it don't mean that some of us won't need to tear something up. It ain't necessary for us to go into all-out warfare, because we got more allies than we possibly could imagine. We just didn't know they was allies. because they hadn't talked to the right people yet. Because a lot of people was thinking that we was the problem against each other, and all of the time it was a third party hiding behind each of us, throwing rocks at each other in the name of name calling, colorful epithets, right? And it created monsters called Karens, right? And angry black women. Listen, I feel about the angry black women the same way Malcolm felt about an angry black man. He said, and Malcolm say, if you're not an angry black man in America, you are not a sane black man in America. Because only can you be, you cannot be a sane man in America and not be angry. So the only way you cannot be angry, you have to be the lost your damn mind. So if the women is angry, yeah, because when Big Mama got took off her throne, that usurped their birthright, they supposed to be mad about it. The problem is they didn't know who to be mad at, so they was just mad at everybody. And that goes back to one of the rules to the game, DTAA. Don't trust anybody, right? Make them prove themselves first. So the angry black woman is actually a shield to make you prove yourself before you can get to them soft innards.
Go ahead.
It's just like the shell on the armadillo. As long as he balled up, you can't get in there. But if he comfortable, he'll stretch out and let you rub his belly.
Right.
She's not gonna let you get to the soft, sweet, loving woman until you get past the raging, angry black woman that want her shit back, because you got to be either bringing her shit back or telling her how to get it.
That's damn so right, bro.
Right. So when she realized that you either bringing it back or telling her how to get it, then she started being softer, kinder, sweeter.
Yeah.
Right. What was that? Who sang that song? I'll Be Sweeter. It wasn't Phyllis Hyman. Yes, it was. I think it was Phyllis Hyman. Say I'll be sweeter next time. Yeah. Because the whole thing is, ain't nobody happy when they birthright is taken from them. Even if it's not consciously aware to them, somebody stole their birthright.
I need a fucking something.
You can tell by how I feel that something ain't right. And you might have a clue. You might know you're supposed to be somebody with importance. You might know that you're supposed to be rich, but where's your wealth? You know all of this stuff. And when you're looking around and you seeing other people living high on the hog and you struggling day to day, that's going to piss you off. It's going to make you angry. But the problem is, as Tupac said when he unleashed thug life on the world, when you get done being angry, what you going to do next? Because angry energy will make you crash out. But wise enemy energy know that if he can calm the rage energy long enough to direct it in the right place, that shit laser focus.
Hey, Rod, I got a couple more questions for you, 'cause I know you said you got an hour. Hey, man, so real quick, I'm speaking on Big Mama's Babies, Marcus Garvey, Gorilla Clan. What was his aim on working with, from your perspective, what was his aim on working with Walter Plecker in the Back to African campaign? What's your take on it?
Walter Plecker was to create an antithesis to skin color in order to create a magnet of people. This is what eugenics was. Eugenics is written by Enki. It's the purification of the blood and the restoration of the corrupted blood by giving it one drop of the purified blood. But in order to make people want the purified blood in the contaminated blood to mix, you got to tell them they can't be together. It's something wrong with the people that don't look like you, right? And the only way you can get a God to do something is to tell him he can't do it.
Hey,
and he he gonna do it just to defy what you said he can't.
That's facts,
Right.
Rod.
So when you go back to J.A. Rogers' Sex and Race and Nature Knows No Color line, and then you just get to see the trickery being played. But not until you get to that Neely Fuller United Independent Compensatory Code for breaking the chains of white supremacy will you actually have the tools to see beyond the veil. A veil of an illusion so elaborate that they conscripted all forms of government, entertainment, politics, religion, warfare in order to form a ring of lies around this one valuable truth. And that one valuable truth is one drop of blood will resurrect your ass from the dead. We in a crucible. You create the contention in order to relieve the tension. First got to come the hostilities, then the regret. The psychopathic racial personality that's the Iceman inheritance had to go through a catharsis, but it also had to go through a bloodline fusion. You remember Baba talking about tying into the van, right?
Right. And the Blessed the Records Rate book. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if you tying into the van, that means that you're twigging. Twigging is the earliest term they had for cloning. Right. So we actively cloning a new people by putting two unalike people together to form the new people. Right. Once the new people is formed, it cleaned up the debauchery that was the old diluted people, but it also relieves the punishment from the righteous people for allowing them dirty motherfuckers to do it.
Go ahead.
So when Yakub was grafting his dove and left niggas in charge, this is why we've been thinking that the cracker was in charge. Because one of the things when you create a new people, everybody have a right to rule. Everybody got to have had a right to rule at an ascension time. We in an ascension time. We ascending into the age of Aquarius, into the age of knowing, into the age of spirituality. Genetics just tell you what the great debauchery was and what was the remedy. Once you know the remedy, then you apply the remedy in order to effectuate the solution. So the crucible, God's melding pot, where you blend the metals, the platinum group metals represent each of the groups of humans, right? And from the platinum group metals, by mixing and melding, you form a new form of metal. Like iron and brass make bronze. Iron and copper make brass, right? You got to mix it together. Iron and aluminum makes, I think, tin or something like that. By mixing the two metals, you make a new metal. And the new metal going to have its own number on the periodic table of elements because it's not neither of the original. So now we take that from the metals to understand the ABO grouping, right? The primary 7 blood types, right? And the master blood type is the O blood. O blood is omega blood. Omega blood is original blood. So when you studying in the comics and it's telling you about an omega level mutant that have world destroying powers, it's always talking about the divine Shakti energy, Kali Ma, mother time, mother space. It's all talking about the creative potentiality of the divine feminine in which we extract the divine masculine. And we use the divine feminine to teach the divine masculine how to be truly divine, right? And once he's truly divine, he's a master in divination. And as a master of divination, now he can read the oracles. And we know that the oracles is from Delphi. And Delphi is Delta. And Delta is the Delta blues. And the Delta blues come from Mississippi. So they telling you the story all over the world at the same time without telling you the story. You're on mute, Elder.
They didn't get that. Now this is my next question for you. Now I noticed it's still some brothers over. I don't know if they ages or what, but they still promoting the Back to Africa campaign. I know we went over this 1,000 times, but um, but these brothers never been to Africa. Marcus Garvey never been to Africa. They promoting. What's up with this, man? Why they study hitting us over the head with this back? Y'all need to go on back to Africa. We never been to Africa. Why we got to go back somewhere we never been?
They got Garveyism and the Back to Africa movement wrong. Garvey's intent wasn't to take us all back to Africa. It's in his writings. But he said all eyes on Africa because Africa is going to show you when the rise come. We seeing it now, right? And then the African rise is coinciding with the tribes from over here because we cousins.
That's
right?
right.
Them are cousins over there, and over here we supposed to be brothers,
Right.
right? So when we looking at them doing what they doing, we just have a different strategic move because of the contracts we was under. We got to move different. If we move like Ibrahim Traore, they locking our ass up and murdering us.
Go ahead.
They not gonna never let us get that big openly where we can take charge of the military like that. So what we got to do is rally the ones of us in the street that know who we are to wake their fellow man up to who we are. Our consciousness and awareness is the keys to our liberation.
Say it again, Rob. Say that again. God damn
The
it.
knowledge itself is the knowledge required for you to secure your birthright. It's not tied to paperwork. Paperwork is a tool of combat between fraudsters. Whoever can use the rules of the fraud most successfully win the battle, but they don't win the war. When you go against the paper system, you have to use the verbal system. And this ties back to the ancient doctrine of speaking the thing into existence. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Don't prepare what you were going to say. Let the Holy Soul speak through you. The Holy Mother will guide you as to what need to be said at the right time to affect the right people in the right place. And before you know it, it's going to show up on a Super Bowl show telling you they not like us.
Go ahead.
Right? Which is going to show up in the algorithm response of feverish proportion across color spectrum in order to show where Big Mama reach at. She can reach us wherever we at as long as we got a drop of blood.
Go ahead.
The ones that don't got a drop of blood, they just turning off. They telling them they dying from strokes and heart attacks, blood clots, cancer, and all. No, they being systematically shut down. And then some with the blood of the wicked is being tortured for it. So they laying in stasis for 6 months to a couple of years, and they call it a comatose state. You ain't allowed to die till you suffered enough for the suffering you cause.
Dang, yes, boy, that's good right there.
I told you, ain't nobody escaping without paying for their dirt, and I done seen it firsthand.
Hey, speaking of that, you said that, Raw, in Virginia, a brother. I want you what you think about this. It was a brother at his house, minding his own business, sleep 3 o'clock in the morning. Two white guys said that they were doing some kind of TikTok prank and was trying to break in his house. They said it was a prank, but the brother ended up killing one of the white boys and shooting the other white boy. But now they holding that brother for murder, right? So what do you think on that? You think that he should? Because it was like a home invasion. The brother was defending his home. So but it goes either way. Go ahead.
Look, they was pulling the prank, right?
Yeah.
The joke on them. Because in every state, when somebody is breaching your barriers without your consent and without a warrant, and you defend your property, you supposed to walk.
Right. That's what I said. Why they sicking this brother with all these charges if they try to break in his house 3 o'clock in the morning? You wanted to plank 3 o'clock in the morning? Come on, man.
Look, cover story is never the true story.
That's right. Go
The
ahead,
cover
tell me, bro.
story is the sensationalism to villainize the people that you are hostile towards.
Go
The
ahead.
cover story is to steer mass opinion so that they gonna see if they can justify the dirt they finna try to do.
Right.
But if we don't fall for the cover story, then they normally rectify it by saying we was just playing. We ain't gonna charge them money. Right. But if we fall for the cover story, they can tell by the algorithm, by the response of the people. If they got enough people agreeing with them, they justify it in their dirt.
Right.
They can't do it if we don't agree.
That's right.
We got to have enough of us agree. We have to consent to being done dirty and our people being done dirty. We have to continuously consent to their propaganda. That's why propaganda warfare is so powerful.
Right. Right. That's what I was saying about that. Everybody said about that prank. It's a prank. Nah, man. You try to break in a man's house 3 o'clock in the morning.
How do
Come
he
on,
know
man.
it's a prank? That's part of the prank.
That's
It
what I
got to
said.
be. He don't know it's a prank. Did he say he knew him?
No, he didn't know it was a prank. He thinking some jokers trying to break in his house.
Right. So they doing the prank at 3 a.m. on a guy that they don't know. Let that sink in. So when you're talking about cover story, what's the guy? Do you know what the guy name is?
What's the guy name again? Baby? Rodney. No, that's Rodney's the guy that ran over the guy. The other guy they got in Virginia, his name is the TikTok guys. What's their name? Hold on, I'm gonna tell you, Roy. Yeah, like we just got this happened like a couple days ago. Yeah, they charging this brother with felony murder, like the list of charges, and they broke in his house to try to get him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Come on, man.
So if he do go to trial, this is where he's supposed.
Tyler's his name. Tyler.
Ain't that something? Tyler, the creator.
Yeah.
So look,
Tyler Butler. That's his name. Tyler Butler.
So if you go to trial, they have what's called jury nullification.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could come back with he was justified, and they might find him guilty of some lesser charges like carrying a unregistered firearm in the city limits or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But it depends on what their gun laws are. Right? He can't be it can't be an accurate felony murder if somebody is breaching his house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You got to have a right to defend yourself and your family. Anybody to tell you don't have a right to defend yourself and your family is your sworn enemy.
Right.
That's just the way it is. That they telling you they enemy by telling you you can't defend your family. The right to bear arms is called an inalienable right. That means that they're not supposed to abridge. Abridge means put rules and restrictions on it.
Right.
The only thing they can govern is for what they call the imbecile, the mentally unfit.
Right.
So if you haven't been to a psychiatrist to determine that you're the type of character that's insane enough shouldn't have a firearm, that's an individual by individual cases, but they can't blanket ban guns.
Right.
They're not even supposed to make you register your gun. That's called an abridgment of a right. That's an addendum to your right. That's saying you got the right as long as you follow my rules. That's not a right. That's a privilege. If you attach anything to a right, it's no longer a right, it's a privilege. Registration is an attachment to the right.
Right.
If you go talk to them good old boys, you'll find out that they got just as much guns as the U.S. military, but you didn't know it.
Damn sure do.
Right? We just started collecting guns in the dope era. Right? But we ain't got the type of guns that them good old boys been collecting the whole time they been here. They still got Gatling guns and barns out in middle America.
Yeah.
With full chain clips. And they know how to make their own bullets. So all they do is save the shells when they go practice shooting and remake them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Restring they belt clips. Man, they got guns from the wars that they was buying when they was coming back from overseas.
Yep.
Some of them was mailing foreign firearms,
Yep. That
mid-range
fact.
firearms back during all of the wars.
Boy, you
They
ain't
didn't
lying.
stop.
My granddaddy did it.
Yep, they stopped them in. I think the Gulf War was the first war they wasn't allowed to send their enemy guns back as a collector's item.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm talking about the first Gulf War in '91,
Yeah.
because they found out that a lot of soldiers from our community had learned the rules to owning guns and started becoming collectors. When you a collector, they can't tell you how many guns you can collect, especially when you register, right? So the collector got wise and he knew that it was guns that was made after a certain year. They don't have serial numbers, so you don't have to register the ones made before that year, right? And you classify them as an antique.
Go ahead.
Some of them you have to put a plug in the barrel. That means that it's non-fireable. And then you could classify it as a replica. But if war kick off, you could pull the plug out the barrel, put a couple of springs in it, and make it fully operational for combat.
Go ahead.
Right? The bikers know what I'm talking about. The truckers know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right? And they understand the need to be able to defend themselves on the open road. And they got a right to defend themselves on the open road, just like you got the right to defend yourself in your domicile.
Right.
Right. As soon as they try to usurp a right, they turn it into a privilege. You can't turn a right into a privilege. That's an abridgment of a right prohibited in the Constitution. The contract they wrote, the only reason why we had to have it in writing, because that motherfuckers won't follow the rules if you don't write them down. And then if you write them down, they're going to try to come up with addendums to the rule where they can change it at their whim. And if you go for it, turnabout fair play.
Yeah, they call it an act. It ain't no law, it's an act now.
Yeah, that's because they don't mean it. They just playing. They masquerading and playing the part. They not the actual people. They just the people playing the part of the people.
Go ahead.
Puppets. Marionette show. Right. And they protect themselves with angry sheep.
Right. Hey, we about at the hour mark, Raw. You hold on, let me share this.
Well, I got 15% left on my phone.
Yeah, okay, all right. We got a couple more minutes then. Hey, we'll take some questions from the crowd. Hey, y'all, if you got any questions for Chief Rod, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. It's a lot going on the land right now. Like I say, I think that it looked like the tables are turning to where the stuff that was happening to us is now happening to them. You know, or the bad guys, you know.
All you got to do is keep watching. Get your popcorn. Don't participate in the shenanigans. Stay out them people way. The National Guard coming because Trump already announced it. Now remember, Elder, I told y'all that when they get ready to get rid of the police, what they had to do to secure the community.
Bring in the guards.
Yep. And they got to do it where? In the high crime districts, right?
Right. Chicago. Yep.
Right. So when they talk about bringing the National Guard to the Black community, it's actually a good thing for us, but it's a bad thing for people like illegal policing.
Go ahead.
Right. Because they can't take the police away because we conditioned to have them there without replacing them with somebody that's more cordial to us. And like I told y'all, the National Guard them been already trained to treat everybody like they family.
Right.
So the National Guard training is not foreign combat. It's can I help my neighbor training. You're not there. You're not there to shoot a nigga in the back because he was running down the street. That's not your job is. Your job is when you see that old lady with them too many bags to carry across the street, you go help her.
Right.
Right. When you see that man going upside that lady head, you go help her.
Right.
Right. And because we conditioned to police and police calling, the dispatch is going to have to switch over to the National Guard because they're going to be having to send National Guard in because it ain't going to be no goddamn police.
Go ahead.
right? Now, in the district communities or what we call rural areas, that's the sheriff can handle that. They have the sheriff's department in place that's capable of handling all of the counties.
Okay.
And the deputy and the sheriff has the electoral right to deputize as many deputies as he needs to fulfill the function. All of the ones that want to stay in law enforcement need to go sign up with the sheriff and get the fuck off the police force before hell come down on their head.
Go ahead.
You know, and that's the only way that you're gonna be able to remain in law enforcement and stay on the land. You're not gonna be able to be POLICE and remain on the land because they are foreign agency with foreign interests. They don't have our interests. They not here to serve and protect us. Because they ain't never showed us no protective services over here except for CPS, and they can only come in to break families up and traffic children. Right. So they have no caring compassion for us. All they want to do is bust us upside the head, shoot us in the bed, shoot us on the street, shoot us on our feet. Wherever they catch us at, they want to kill us because it's warfare. It's not what people think. They've been lying the whole time. They don't belong here. Right. And you got proper people in place who took the oath to prevent them from doing the debauchery they doing, from doing the corruption they doing, from administratively asserting a foreign jurisdiction. That makes them domestic enemies when they from here and they work for a foreign agency. They all should be registered under the Foreign Agent Act and the Aiding and Abetting of the Enemy Act. What they call it, it's not called aiding and abetting the enemy. It's called working with the enemy or something like that.
Yeah. Trading with the enemy, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Trading with the Enemies Act.
Yeah.
Right. Now, they wanted to make Farrakhan register under the Trading with the Enemy Act in order for Muammar Gaddafi to put the wealth of Libya behind him. So why they can't force these fake ass police to register under the Trading with the Enemy Act for working for London? The London ain't our motherfucking government.
Right.
Our government's over here supposed to be tribal. And the tribal structure don't look too much different than the structure that they superimposed upon us. This is called, in the CIA lingo, the American corporation. It's called a cutout. Right? It's not our government. Them people is hostile forces on the land, hostile to the tribes, belligerent to the tribe. All we trying to do is inform the tribes of who don't belong here in order to get the imposters out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And these sheriffs better start treating people with some kindness and compassion, even if they locked up in their county jails, because the stuff they feed them in there, man, I wouldn't get that shit to my dog.
Man, burnt burritos, burnt cornflakes.
They do that on purpose because they call themselves teaching you a lesson. If you want to eat some decent food, don't come to jail. I understand it, but you can't be holding the tribes hostage on their own land and then giving them malnourished food.
Right.
Right. We understand that you may consider them, if they're not convicted, they're not even supposed to be treated as criminals.
Right.
They ain't been convicted of shit. They was arrested and accused of something. That don't mean that they actually the criminal. Sometimes the people that's accusing them is the actual criminal.
Go ahead.
You know, so the criminal put the innocent person in jail, and you gonna make them suffer for coming to jail because the innocent motherfucker got locked up on the dirty motherfucker's word.
Right.
No, that's you. If you're supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, you should treat a motherfucker like they innocent until proven guilty.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Go ahead.
You shouldn't be under tents in Arizona in pink jumpsuits because you got locked up. You ain't been convicted yet.
Right.
If they want to, if they want you to be treated like a criminal, they should first convict you.
Right.
Otherwise, you treat a human like a human. You give him his human respect and his human dignity. You supply the nourishment if you're going to hold him in captivity, or you let him go out and get his own nourishment.
Right. Now, in the feds, though, in the feds, you eat like a king, though, man. For breakfast, they give you eggs, grits, pancakes, and a honey bun,
You
man,
know what
and a
that
cup of
is?
orange. Huh?
That's because you're close to the master house.
Okay, yeah. See, if I go to the feds. Hey, the state time is hard time, man. You go to the feds, them boy wearing Rolexes. They got a pair of Jordans on. You know what I'm saying? He rocking it there with a
That's
chain
only
still on.
that's only that's only in certain Fed joints. They all ain't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know, like they all ain't like that. The one in Atlanta
Yeah.
is though.
But you got Sing Sing, Marion, ADX. Them some
Mhm.
miserable places to be.
Yeah, ADX. Yeah, hell yeah. Those spots right there. You damn sure
And,
right.
and look, they say we weak. You can't be weak and endure what Larry Hoover endured. You can't
Man,
be weak. You can't be weak. You can't be weak and go through what Angel Bay been going through. You can't be weak when you're going through what Malachi York going through.
right.
You can't be weak and go through what H-Rap Brown going through. I can always butcher his Muslim name, so I called him H-Rap Brown for the purpose of clarity. But you can't be weak and go through what Mumia went through.
All right.
They said our people are weak. You can't be weak and go through what Asada Shakur went
That's
through,
fact. That's facts.
right? You can't be weak and go through what John Africa and his family went through. And they still here after being bombed, imprisoned, murdered by the government, by the police.
Damn.
But the police ain't supposed to be our enemy, though. Right? They set us up. They fabricate cases like they did on Geronimo Pratt and Dick Tookie in order to give us the death penalty or lock us up for life. And few of us have a Johnny Cochran that's a bulldog on the case.
Right.
Most of the ones see the case, they want the case because they want the prestige, but they don't want to do the work required to break you free.
Right.
So they'll come on the whole press conferences and talk about everything they're going to do to help just to get their name recognition, but they don't end up helping in the end, but they end up getting a lot of referrals for a lot of cases to people that believe they can actually help them, and all they doing is bait and switch, bait and switch.
Making some money.
Yeah, it's all for the money. Sooner or later, though, we're going to have to snap out of the slumber. Because when enough of us see it, look, the change is going to be so sweet when enough of us is when we truly hit critical mass, because we apparently ain't hit critical mass, but we getting close.
Getting close.
When we hit critical mass, the shit going to switch so smooth, it's going to go from one day looking chaotic to the next day like, bam, everybody Gucci now.
Yeah.
Don't nobody gotta fight for a right to exist anymore. But we still gotta go through process. And a lot of people become impatient because process, depending on how big the change, sometimes take longer than we want it to.
Right.
But the process still processing, it just ain't moving as fast as we want it to. I call it the slow falling building, because the people at the distance watching it fall, it look real slow. But the one trying to get from under it, he realized how fast that motherfucker falling while he trying to escape.
Right.
But the people that's at a distance saying, run, fool, run. And they see him, he chucking up, he running faster than Carl Lewis in the Olympics. But guess what? He can't outrun that falling building.
Go ahead.
It's falling too fast. The fall at the rate of the fall is faster than he can accelerate on his 2 feet. But to the people at a distance, by the building being so big, it looked like it's falling really slow.
Right. And those the police, they got cause my cousin, he a cop, right? And I talked to him, you know, what I know, right? But it seemed like to me he indoctrinated under some kind of program. They programmed to just intimidate them, speak loud, say police, get on the ground. They got to be all belligerent and just They teach you the cops to be belligerent, and they teach the cops to be intimidating. They teach them to be what they are. You know what I'm saying? They don't train them to be nice, and they train them for like warfare, pretty much.
Intimidation tactics,
Yeah.
threats and coercion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no Nature Boy fan, but the girl just come out with a video talking about how they set him up with the rape case. They always, when they don't have nothing to get you on, they always use some kind of sexual shit.
Right.
Because the allegation is more important than the actual event itself.
Go ahead.
The allegation is the key and critical evidence of a rape. Right? So they can convince you that somebody a cult leader and you ain't had no choice. And originally you was all in. Now you got buyer's regret because you've been questioned by the police.
Right. Dang, that's so true, Rod. That's so true.
Yeah. I got 5%, Elder.
All
Maybe
right, man. We're gonna
one more question and then we let it go.
We'll take one more question from the crowd. Y'all drop it in the chat. You want to show love, Rod some love? We got his cash app dropped in the chat, y'all. Well, hey, give me a good one. It says in the building, what's your perspective? I don't see what he asking though. Said, what's your perspective?
It's a IUIC in the building. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. It says it's Big Mama Empress.
She's not physically here with us anymore. Empress Verdiasi. She died destitute in a nursing home in California, which is a damn shame.
I think her daughter, Wendy Washington, they got passed to her. But there's more than one Empress on the land. Empress Wendy is the Empress, standing Empress of the Washita. Wendy Washington, which is her daughter.
Yeah. So we have a Big Mama ranking system by blood right heirs. And the only person that had the same birthright capability of reclaiming the allodial title was Empress Rarebird. Otherwise, we would have had to find the next heir. So first, the red house, Empress Verdiasi was under the red house, right? And Empress Rarebird was under the blue house,
right?
So when the Empress of the red house didn't claim the land, then the birthright responsibility passed to the Empress of the blue house,
right?
And if the Empress of the blue house is successful, and she have a son, adopted son that's also successful, that's the way that we reclaim the birthright of all of the tribes instead of just some of the tribes.
Right.
Because Empress Verdiasi was trying to claim the right of all of the tribes, but all of the tribes wasn't on board with her, and that was part of the problem. Now Empress Rarebird have the chance to get all of the tribes on board, and I have to speak up and so that we understand what's taking place and hit critical mass. We got to wrap it up from there, and I got 1%.
All right, hey man, look, peace and love, y'all. We'll be back with some more, man. We love Raw for coming on and sharing with us. This right here was fire, man. This was a good one. Y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. We're gonna be back. Young TV, man. Free all the political prisoners, man. We on the rise, man. We on the move. We on the rise, baby. Wadu, baby. Peace.